Hi everyone, and welcome to the Pisces July 2021 Love Connection reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot and Meaning-Based Spiritual Coaching Services. I am Lauren. Hi, and welcome. Now, first off, I want to apologize for the late date of releasing this video. I know it's the last day of July, so most likely the majority of these energies will move into the month of August. You'll still get your August love connection reading. These are just a little delayed this month. So this is one of 3 connection readings I complete each month for each sign that focuses on bringing awareness to some internal authentic aspect of self, and then bringing awareness as to how that can connect to your external environment as well as to those around you. And this is also that you can help start to engage with the feelings of emotional fulfillment and being able to see place and purpose for your unique self in your external environment. All right, Pisces, so we're going to get into your love reading here. We are going to, I do use the Triad of Engagement, which is a coaching tool I've developed in my practice, which focuses on the principles of curiosity, courage, and contemplation. So you will hear me bring those up throughout this reading. But in addition to that, we're going to be focusing on the themes of love, both romantic love and just the general energy of love and how you connect to others. So Pisces, right off the bat, as I was getting into your energy here, I saw the image of a hot air balloon and two people in this hot air balloon, and the theme song from the movie Out of Africa came to mind. Now, I don't know how old all of you guys are who are watching this, but that the music to the movie Out of Africa is just absolutely beautiful. And there was this kind of element that I got, that this feeling of when we're thinking about love and the connection of love, it's almost like you're like in this kind of grand adventure state of like the truly romantic element of love, but applying that to all aspects of your life right now, that kind of seeing life as this grand adventure, and it's like this epic like you're setting sail on this epic beautiful new start. And so I really do feel like that's, when I'm thinking about love for you guys, that's the feeling that I'm getting is coming through here, that you guys are really starting to open up to this, grander, romanticized vision of just love in general for both yourself, other people, but also for just the adventure that life holds in general. And it's interesting too, because as I'm saying this, I'm thinking about how actually Pisces, one of the cards that you're represented by in the tarot is the Knight of Cups. And there's this element of he is kind of the hopeless romantic. And I really feel like you're stepping up into that energy. Okay, so I'm going to pull a card here that's going to tap into the element of curiosity to kind of start the reading off, but also to give you a point to build a question around, to build awareness of your relationship to love or some area of blockage in you being able to give and receive love in an even flow. So this is really about bringing awareness through asking a question. And those are way too many cards. I'm sorry, guys. That was like 6 cards. Don't think I can go through all of those here. So let's see if we can get 1 or 2 instead of 6. So when we're talking about curiosity, we are opening ourselves up to ourselves, but in this reading to the energy of love in an optimistic, open, and receptive way. So we have forgiveness. And it says, holding on to resentment and anger is preventing or even suffocating your spiritual growth. Resentment is one of the strongest and most damaging of human emotions. The act of forgiveness in its own right is equally incredibly powerful, and it has the capacity to heal and transform. And this is such a powerful message, Pisces. Forgiveness is I think one of the most powerful principles we as humans can experience in helping to liberate us to continue to be the highest versions of ourselves. And what do I mean by that? I mean that forgiveness is not about helping the other person. So I think sometimes when we think of forgiveness and we're having difficulty actually forgiving somebody for their actions, especially when those actions directly hurt us in some way or implicated us in something that had a negative result or connotation, that we almost can get defensive in utilizing forgiveness because we feel that somehow it's letting somebody get away with something. It's letting somebody get away with an action, a hurtful action, or letting somebody actually hurt themselves. Sometimes that's the hardest thing, is to forgive somebody for being in a place where they can't understand that their actions are actually hurting themselves. And it can be very difficult, instead of trying to change that person or continually bring awareness to the fact that their actions are not in alignment with helping themselves or helping others and working with an energy of that supportive, beautiful energy of love, that instead we can simply just release it through forgiveness, through saying, I forgive you for your actions because I can see that this is who you are and you're not doing it intentionally or willfully. This is just, unfortunately, who you are. I can hope and pray that at some point you'll be able to see the error of your actions or the error of your ways, so to speak, but I don't have to carry that burden. I don't have to carry that emotional and mental burden of you. And that's what forgiveness is all about. Forgiveness is release and liberation. Forgiveness liberates the individual who is forgiving. It is not meant to bring solace. Now, it can at some point when somebody is reaching out and asking for forgiveness from a true place of awareness and humility. Obviously, being given forgiveness is also a very powerful moment and can also help alleviate that person's pain and liberate them from a burden they've been carrying. But there's also this quality of forgiveness, first and foremost, liberates the person who is doing the forgiving. It allows you to release the burdens of another and to also take personal responsibility for changing your perspective on how you react to the other person's actions. You may have a hurtful parental figure in your life, or you may have a hurtful significant other, or, name it. It could be a boss figure or just somebody in your life who, through their actions, hurt you. And by simply changing your perspective through forgiveness, and we're talking about the energy of love. The energy of love is not just romantic love. Being able to step fully into life and connect with others in a healthy and beneficial way utilizes the energy of love. And that energy of love is a two-way street. It's us being able to give support through love and us being able to receive support through love. And forgiveness allows us to keep that channel open, but also bring the power back to ourselves, meaning that we get a chance to forgive that person for who they are and kind of in a way unconditionally love them, to give them support, to say, I accept who you are and what you do. I'm not going to sit here and try to belittle the things you've done. I'm not going to yell in your face or scream at you at how you're an awful person. I'm just going to take that this is who you are and these are your imperfections. And I'm going to change my perspective to say, I'm no longer going to be affected on this level by them. And I'm going to take personal responsibility for overcoming the hurt that you have caused through your actions. Instead of living maybe in a place of victimization where you are constantly going back to this person and how they treated you, and utilizing that as kind of a mirror to yourself to say, well, if this person treated me like poop or kept saying I was bad at this or kept putting me down for this, then I must be. And instead changing that to say, no, I can rise above that. I understand that I have a purpose and a place, and that this person just happens to be imperfect. And I forgive that in them, and I change my perspective to realize, no, I'm not terrible at this, or I'm not a bad person because I chose to do this instead of what this other person wanted me to do. Or I'm not a bad person because my mother or father is an angry person, and it's not my place to change them. So this, if we're building in a question, it's really looking at who in your life right now do you need to forgive? And sometimes this can be hard because we'll actually look at it and go, well, I don't think I need to forgive anybody. Everything seems to be great. I have a healthy relationship with my significant others. I have a great relationship with my parents. I have a great relationship with my work people. But there is something to be said about resentment. I think, bringing that, having that be one of the first words here, holding on to resentment and anger is preventing or even suffocating your spiritual growth. This could be resentment or anger towards something that you haven't even realized is kind of blocking that energy of love for you. That maybe there's this resentment in a way that's been building up where it's not like you had this person who was like telling you had to be this, and so you followed this career path and now you hate your life because you didn't want to be a doctor, but your dad wanted you to be a doctor, and something like grand and dramatic like that. It could be small. It could be something like it just bothers you that a parental figure just couldn't be happy in their own life. And it hurts you to see them not happy. But you have to just release that. You can't carry their inability to find fulfillment and happiness in their own life for you. That's not on you to do. You can't fulfill somebody else. You can only fulfill yourself. And that's where kind of this element can get tricky. And sometimes that can actually become a block in how we love and how we receive love. Because instead of just focusing on ourselves, we end up we get blocked in that place of, but I have to help my parent be happy. Or I have to help somebody else be happy. I have to, I can't be around this person because they're never happy. And so I need to make it my mission. And eventually what happens is that you end up getting frustrated. You end up getting angry. Like, why won't this person just be happy? They have so much to be happy for. I don't get it. And so you keep putting more and more and more love towards them. This can become more like a codependent dynamic where you keep, well, if I just keep nurturing them, if I just keep giving love to them, if I just keep doing this, then they'll be happy. Then they'll feel loved. Then they'll open up and finally I can just release my tie to them of trying to make them happy. And in reality, it's not on you to make somebody else happy. It's just not. That's not. Even parents with children, it is not on a parent to make a child happy. It is on a parent to provide the environment for a child to realize themselves, to learn about themselves, to feel safe and secure and have their needs met. But you can't make a child happy. For anybody who's been around children, you understand that if a child is just determined to be angry or upset, it's very little you can do. in that moment to make them happy. And it kind of is like that with adults as well, that it's not on us to make them happy. It is on us to just always be in that energy of love and to give love without, needing to expect it to be received. But at some point, that channel becomes, unbalanced. So when you're constantly giving, and you're never getting that return back to you from that person, well, that's when your element of love, your relationship to love becomes unbalanced, and it can become blocked because you're so focused on, I'm not receiving love from this person. I'm giving, and I'm not receiving it. And love would look like basically them changing, them becoming happy all of a sudden, and them coming to you and thanking you and being like, thank you so much for all this effort you've, all the love and support you've given me. Thank you. And so this is where we kind of have to almost divorce ourselves from that through forgiveness, and just to say, I forgive you for who you are. And I forgive myself at the same time for all this time and energy I've put towards trying to make this person happy and realizing it's not going to happen. And it's just a lesson learned. It's not time lost or wasted. It's a lesson learned for myself, as much as it is forgiveness for that person just being who they are. So that's kind of the opening question of where can you step in and utilize the energy of forgiveness to really clear any blocks around your energy of love pertaining to a specific person or a connection in your life right now. Now I'm going to pull some tarot cards here to get some messages, to see what comes out for either the block or for a specific person you are currently connecting with. We're also going to be kind of tapping into the principle of courage here, because courage really takes us to a place of, kind of personal. Let's see, I'll take these guys here. Courage takes us to a place of personal empowerment, where we get a chance to really understand that we have the ability to control our actions, that no, we can't control our external environment, and no, we cannot control the people in it. And especially when we're looking at a love connection reading, which is all about interpersonal connections, knowing that really the control lies on our end to adjust our actions and to adjust our reactions and perceptions of another's actions and reactions towards us. We can't control the other person. So we have 3 cards that came out. So this card came out face up, which is the 4 of Swords. And we had 2 cards that came up face down, which is 3 of Cups and 2 of Pentacles, which is interesting. So it's almost like, the 4 of Swords card is about taking a pause. Taking a pause to, it's almost like a mental break, to sit and really evaluate what is true for you versus what are stories of pain and hurt that have come from other people and that you have kind of adopted as your own. So the 4 of Swords combines the 3 of Swords with the Ace of Swords, where the 3 of Swords is the stories and the wounds from the past that continue to kind of stab us on an emotional level, but through our thoughts. It's the hurtful thoughts we keep thinking, that the stories we keep telling ourselves, well, I failed at that, or this person told me I was terrible here. And then we keep bringing that down into our emotional core of just injuring ourselves over and over as we think about these wounds in our head. But then we have the Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Swords is our personal truth. This is our gift from the divine of our unique perspective, the perspective that nobody else in the entire universe shares, because nobody can see out of our own eyes. No one is living our experience. And so this card really denotes that quality of having that momentary time, that point in your life where you get to sit back and really reflect on, okay, what's my truth? What is my connection to the divine that is uniquely me? And these are my thoughts that are clear and strong, my ability to use my truth to see and perceive on a mental level with clarity the world around me. And then what are the three swords? What are the other swords that are other people's truths that have gotten mixed in with mine, that I have started to tell myself is my truth? Like, I'm always bad at working consistently, or I'm always bad in relationships, or I'm always, I'm always a failure with all these things I've tried, whatever it is that, what are yours and what are theirs. So this could actually tying into forgiveness. This is really where perhaps maybe you did grow up with a parental figure or some person in your life who told you over and over again that this is where you kind of come out with well, you're not book smart, but you're really great at sports. Like, you should just focus on that. And so throughout your life, you told yourself, well, I'm just not book smart. I just can't pick up that kind of stuff. So I just have to keep focusing on my physical aspect of my experience because that's what I've been told I was good at. And in reality, maybe that's not the truth. That's what you've adopted from somebody else telling you that. But now this is time for you to kind of break down that part of yourself that holds on to what other people have said, to the judgments that other people have made, and to really go into that mental space to say, okay, what is mine and what is mine and what is theirs? And maybe you're realizing in this moment some clarity towards, wow, actually, I really do, I feel like I want to go back to school and study some specific, aspect of self. Or I've realized that actually, as I've lived my life and gone from childhood into adulthood, I'm great at learning from, I love reading and I am book smart and I've taught myself all these things, and holy cow, I can't believe I've been bringing forward this self-criticism. But instead of getting mad and going back to my parent or my, formative figure in my life and say, you told me I wasn't book smart and you delayed me in going back to school and you forced me to, take the sports route, which I don't even want to do right now, blah, that kind of thing. Instead, you just forgive them. Maybe they didn't know any better. Maybe for them, all they knew was being book smart and they had no idea about, you don't know the motivations of people. It could also be that maybe your parent really wanted you to be a sports star and live out some aspect of themselves that they could never realize. And so they just said this to you to get you to focus more on that because they really wanted to have a son or a daughter that was great in sports because they never were great in sports. It's those kinds of things. But now you have the ability to take responsibility for being you, to come away with clarity and with your truth and to say, I can see my way forward now. I know my truth. Because then we have these two other cards here. So the Three of Cups and the Two of Pentacles. And there's this element here of, Three of Cups can denote community. It can communicate being able to share your cup equally with others, kind of this card of celebration. But there's this lower vibrational quality to Three of Cups where it's almost like you're either getting lost in that kind of sense that you don't, maybe this is actually what's kind of bringing you down. That maybe it's the people you're hanging out with that are negative or that are perpetuating, these negative self-thoughts that you've been telling yourself. And there's this element of, with the Two of Pentacles, this element of making a decision that you're kind of juggling, taking action with these people. You're juggling your interactions, and yet you need to make a decision. Who supports your new vision of self? Who supports the new you versus who doesn't? This is where it's actually almost like you're getting lost in, I'm just going to keep going out and being Mr. Social. I'm just going to keep going out and trying to find the group that works for me. And it's like, in reality, you need to find that from within first. You need to know who you are and not look to seek that from others. So there is this kind of like making a decision between who you're choosing to hang out with. Making a decision with, perhaps the groups of people you've chosen up to this point to hang out with as well. It could be that you're looking back now and realizing, ooh, I've made some poor decisions. Now, this also could be, I'm just going to throw this out there because it could be a very specific message. Sometimes this card can denote a third-party situation. This could be that you're looking to that you're possibly juggling between two different people, and that you are juggling. So when we're looking at the aspect of love and romantic love, it could be that you're juggling between making that decision between two people. And you're meditating on that right now and reflecting which partner kind of holds more value for you. I'm actually going to get some clarifier cards here. But since this is a general reading, I'm also going to look at this more that you guys are more making that decision and reviewing social groups, trying to see kind of more where you fit in, seeing where perhaps you have tried to fit in with certain social groups and it didn't support your truth and maybe only reinforce negative thoughts about yourself, and now being able to kind of make that decision as to, okay, who do I now need to interact with for my new clarity of perspective. Okay, so I'm going to pull some clarifier cards here for the Four of Swords. So let's see here for the Four of Swords. Any clarity, additional clarity here. Oh. Interesting. Okay, well, these actually, so the two cards that just flew out right on top of these two cards exactly like this. So I'm actually going to go with these as the clarifiers for these instead. So this is interesting. With the Four of Wands and the Moon, which there's a quality here, Pisces, for anybody who resonated more with that decision between possibly two partners. There is this quality here of perhaps, so the Four of Wands can denote a celebration. It can denote celebrating the building of a strong foundation from taking action from a place of passion. But it can also denote moving into something along the lines of a marriage. So celebrating a marriage. And then we have the Moon. And the Moon is kind of about the unknown. It's about, to some extent, being called up by the divine to come out of your comfort zone and kind of walk a path on faith, even though you can't quite see the way because it's completely in shadows. And it's interesting because this is a card of Pisces, the Moon. Now, it can also denote the energy of Cancer as well, but you can see here that it is showing the two fish, which is your sign, Pisces. So there is this quality here of, for anybody who's really resonating with trying to make the decision between two people. Or this could even be the decision between two different friend groups, or between being single and not single, that there's this quality of kind of almost wanting to make this commitment, but not being able to see clearly. That there's an element of illusion almost, or an element of you're being called maybe to make this decision to go into uncharted territory, which maybe is a commitment for you. And this could be really what you're battling with. What you are meditating on is this element of reviewing how you view marriage, reviewing how you feel about commitment, and this element of the unknown surrounding that, and having to kind of make that choice and walk this path on faith to say, okay, I choose this person, or I'm choosing to be with this person over being single. And I'm choosing to just go in and face the unknown, or maybe perhaps I was too afraid to do that before. So there's this quality of a little bit of the unknown around making a commitment or a commitment of marriage. This could actually also be a lack of clarity. This could be in that you just need, you're looking for that clarity of who do I choose? Do I stay with married? Do I not? Do I choose this person over that person? So again, there's this kind of lack of clarity as to how you feel about the element of commitment to another. I'm going to pull one more card of clarity to see if I can get something for, I want to see the moon. Can we get additional clarifiers for the moon? Anything else that wants to come out? Now, Pisces, I'm going to say this for the moon, since, it really does play to your energy, which is this quality of what's beautiful about being a Pisces is that you have the ability to really navigate both the upper levels of intuition and connection to the divine and going down into the spiritual depths as well. You get to combine both. And so there is this element of really being able to walk through the unknown, through this kind of moonlit setting with faith, through connecting down and connecting up. You have it's almost like two extrasensory abilities to be able to see when something's not clear. So there's this quality here of also asking yourself to tap in to that ability to help you see a little bit more clearly. But what I'm seeing here too is that there's this element of, with the Four of Swords, finding that clarity of your own personal truth to be able to see the clarity here that's currently kind of being hidden. And that could be, again, clarity towards committing to social groups. It could be clarity committing to one specific person over being single, or clarity towards choosing one person over another, or actually clarity towards even how you feel about committed relationships in general. And then we have Nine of Cups. And so this came out in clarification of the moon. So there is this quality. Nine of Cups is the wish fulfillment card. It's a card of emotional fulfillment. It's a card of kind of being proud on an emotional level of how much you have achieved, but also that card of, okay, what's your wish for the 10th cup? What's your ultimate emotional fulfillment? And so with the moon here, there's almost this quality of looking at that and going, okay, well, what is your wish fulfillment? If this is a little murky, if you're not quite sure about this energy of commitment, then thinking about emotional fulfillment, what is your wish? Now, this could also be, just FYI, in its kind of darker sense, a card of like overindulgence, card of really doing what feels good, but to an excessive level. So there might be this extra element here for you guys to really, maybe gaining clarity on where you're overdoing it and how that's affecting your relationship to your social groups. And maybe seeing, maybe you're gaining some clarity on how your connection and your kind of overindulgence in certain areas might be affecting, perhaps, might be affected by your social groups. So, this could be something where perhaps you're realizing that you're going out and drinking too much with certain groups, or that because you go out and you do certain things with certain groups, it actually is causing you to not see yourself so clearly, causing you to not see a situation so clearly. And that may be that this is like, basically looking at love in general. This is what you're being called to meditate and gain clarity on. So now I'm going to pull a final card here to gain some additional clarification. So Pisces, when we're talking about bringing courage into this, the principle of courage, and really being able to take action from a place of authenticity, this is where sometimes when we're thinking, starting with curiosity towards forgiveness, and we're thinking about, okay, where do we need to forgive either another or ourselves? When we're coming into courage, this is really where you can take the courage to realize, maybe I do have social groups that are not so healthy for me. Or I have a pattern of behavior. Maybe I'm overindulging in a specific area and it's preventing me from being able to, see clearly my relationship to commitment and my relationship to building a firm foundation from a place of action based on passion. And you're realizing in that, it's really your social circle that's holding you back from that. Or it's really a committed relationship that's holding you back from really building a foundation on passion, following a passion. Now that could be, where you really have to sit there and have the courage to take action to make those changes, to admit that to yourself, and then to start to make the changes of, well, I need to start refocusing on myself instead of focusing so much on my external kind of community or the people I hang out with. I need to stop having that, because this is also, the Two of Pentacles can be a card of distraction. This is where perhaps you're getting distracted in this energy. This is where we would maybe be going out every night to bars and like hanging out, and in reality, the world's like, or the universe is like, hey buddy, you've been missing out on following this passion. You're just burning through the days, just, going out and drinking every night. Or you are burning up your time doing something else. I mean, this could even be playing, online video games with people. This could be, again, trying to carry on two different relationships. It's basically trying to distract yourself from the fact that there's something else that you need to gain clarity on, about something you need to build for yourself, some level of stability. Okay, so let's see. So again, courage is really going to bring that power back to you to be able to start to make those decisions to say, maybe not tonight. Maybe I'm not going to go out 5 nights a week this week with these people. Maybe I'll go out just one night. Or maybe I'm going to stop drinking so much when I go out and just see how I feel around these groups. Or maybe I'm going to stop trying to juggle between single life and committed life, and I'm going to make that commitment, or I'm going to release this commitment because I'm realizing now that there's another area I have to focus on. Now that I'm kind of starting to see my truth and I'm starting to see where my wounding is, and I'm being able to release that through forgiveness. Now we're moving into contemplation. So this is kind of a final point to contemplate on, to help kind of round out this reading and where you're taking action on behalf of yourself. What do my Pisces need to know? What's a card of advice? Ooh. So we have yin, which is the number 2. And it's a card that focuses on using, so when you think of the yin and yang energy, yin energy is working with feminine energy. And I don't mean female, girl, woman energy. I mean female energy, which is receptive. So when you look at this, this is an open chalice. So it's meant to, receive. There's this element here, I think, of working with that energy. Now it's the number 2. So the number 2 is about working with others. It's about finding that balance of working with others. It's a card, or it's a number of interpersonal connection. Also, when I think of the 2 of Cups in the tarot, the 2 of Cups are 2 people bringing their cup of emotional fulfillment, their cup of being fulfilled in and of themselves, and bringing it together equally to have this really strong, equal relationship. And so there is that kind of quality that's coming through here of you getting back in touch with your emotional fulfillment, you getting back in touch with your cup, so that you can bring this into alignment, so that instead of it getting lost kind of in the group and you getting lost in the negative thought patterns that have been kind of brought in from others and the stories that kind of hold us back and keep us in these wounded places, coming back into your personal truth to see clearly, okay, what's going to be my emotional fulfillment, and how can I now change how I am when I go into social circles to come from this place of emotional fulfillment. That this is who I am. I don't need, let's say drinking as a crutch, or I don't need to, date around as a crutch, or whatever it is. That instead I can just come to every social situation or every interaction that I have with others from the strong place of this is me, but I'm also ready to receive from another. Because yin energy is all about receptivity. It's about seeing what other people, this is not about being defensive of saying, well, this is my cup. This is who I am and you better accept it. It's about the reverse. It's about sitting there and saying with quiet confidence, this is who I am. I'm already emotionally fulfilled in and of who I am. And I'm ready to see in this group who matches my cup, who's ready to come in and match my cup. Or if this is in a relationship, I'm ready to wait for the right person to come and match my cup. And if that person is here, well, then that's the clarity I have. The clarity is when I think about what fills my cup and being emotionally fulfilled on my own, who is meeting that at the same level as me right now? Not in a way where they have, not in a negative way where this person doesn't have a full cup and so they're trying to bring me down. But who has a full cup and who's going to support me and who's going to be on equal level with me. So this is about kind of finding your truth, really diving into changing the dynamics between you and others to start to find people who really are at your level and who also are there to help you grow and to help support you on that emotional level. Because that's what 2 people coming together with equal fulfillment in themselves will do. 2 healthy people. So when I'm kind of going back to that original vision I had for you guys in this hot air balloon and kind of with this other person. So I saw 2 people in the hot air balloon and you guys are just like flying someplace and going on this grand adventure for life. There's almost this element of saying yes to that. Saying yes to that better nature part of yourself, that ultimate hopeless romantic of seeing the grand, awe-inspiring elements of life and realizing that you can share that with somebody else. But you first have to have that full cup. You first have to know what fills your cup and then be ready for that other person to come in, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, whether it's a romantic partner. And you can share that with others. You can share your grand adventure with others. You don't have to do it alone. This is a really interesting reading, Pisces. I really think this month you guys are going to be releasing. I think you're really going to be tapping into seeing yourself in this, I think, more heightened, confident way. And it's going to really help see who you want to surround yourself with. But you first have to forgive those who can't meet you at your level. That really is what this, all the crux of this whole reading is. It's about really understanding the negative stories you've told yourself and these negative thought patterns that have got you kind of into these codependent relationships with people or substances, and to realize where you no longer need them because you see your value, you see your truth, you know what fulfills you, and you're ready to go on the grand adventure that is life with those that are going to meet you at that level and that are going to be supportive of you, and you're going to release that's kind of why I see the hot air balloon. It's almost like you're rising above everybody and leaving them behind. All those people that haven't supported you, or all the people that the wrong people and that kind of thing. It's like you're almost like, I don't need you. I could just, I'm going to go up in my hot air balloon. And through forgiveness, I'm just going to say, you guys continue to be yourself. But I'm going to go with this person, and we're going to go experience life on the same level. We're going to experience this grand adventure. All right, Pisces, I hope this has been helpful. This is a really fun reading, actually. And if you would like to book a personal tarot reading or a one-on-one coaching session, the link to my website is in the description box below. If you do not see something in there that pertains specifically to what you were hoping to have, you can always book a service, and then in the notes describe what type of reading you're looking for, and I can tailor your reading or tailor your coaching experience to focus more on that aspect of your life. And I look forward to reading for you guys all in August, and I hope you have a wonderful and illuminated rest of the day. Bye, Pisces.